before we get started, there's one important skill that your dog needs to know before we add the first set of 2x2s into the equation, and that is the go command. For training weaves, you don't want to start saying weave until the weave pulls are straight on, but you still need to have some sort of cue to the dog that it's okay for them to move forward without you moving with them. So the way that I train it is with a game called Ready, Steady, Go, and here's how it goes. So you have your dog and a toy or a treat. I would suggest using a toy if your dog will play with toys, but if your dog is only food motivated, then treats are fine. Just be aware that if you're training on grass, be aware that if you're training on grass, then the dog might take a little longer to find the treat that you throw. So anyways, for Ready, Steady, Go, you're going to have your dog at your side, and we're going to play this on both the left and the right sides, so it doesn't matter which side you pick to start. You can either hold your dog by the collar or restrain them across the chest, and whichever way you choose depends on your dog's personality. So if you grab by the collar, some dogs think that that's really domineering because you're looming over them and it's like you're trying to control them. So for dogs like that, you want to grip across the chest like this. For dogs that don't care, like Ember, either way works, but I'm just going to grab her collar because it's easier for me. So you're going to have your reward in your off hand. The first time that you play this, you're in a really excited voice, you're going to crouch down and say, ready, steady. And when the dog looks forward and not at you, you're going to say go and release the toy at the same time. Ready, steady, go. Yes. Good dog. So play that again on the other side. Ready, steady, go. So did you notice how I waited until Ember flicked her eyes forward before releasing her with the go? You don't want to release them while they're still looking at you because they're probably not going to go anywhere and they're just going to be looking at you, which is not the behavior that you're looking for. So once your dog kind of starts to understand the game, then you can start delaying your reward a little bit. So the goal here is for the dog to release on the go, and then the reward magically appears. And this is going to be really relevant in just a minute when we start adding in the 2x2s. Ready, steady, go. So I could have delayed that just a little bit more, so I'll show you that again. Go. Alright, so once your dog has mastered this little game, then you can add in your first set of 2x2s. Okay, so once your dog understands Ready, Steady, Go, then you can play the exact same game with the first set of 2x2s. And what this does is builds value for the dog into going through the set of pulls and also finding the correct entry. So for weave pulls, the dog always enters the first pull on their left shoulder, no matter what side or what angle of approach. So we're building this foundation skill and building their understanding of that with just the 2 pulls before we add any more. Okay, so the first step, once you add the 2x2s, bless you, is you're going to stand with the dog facing forward. Obviously she knows this game. Facing forward through the first set of 2x2s. And I want to talk a little bit briefly about reward placement, so where your treat or toy ends up. You don't ever want to toss your reward straight through, especially when you're first starting, because in addition to teaching the dog how to find the entry, we also want to teach them how to wrap the first pull and to find the entry. And if we always toss the reward straight through, the dog is never going to learn how to collect, and when you add other sets of 2x2s later on, they're going to have a really hard time finding the next set. Okay, so I'm always going to toss my reward along the line as if the dog were to continue weaving. Ready? Steady, go. Yes. See how that works? And just like with anything, you want to play this game on both the left and the right. You will find that training on the right is a little bit more awkward for most people, especially if you're right-handed, because you have to toss the toy or the treat with the other hand. But you can work it out. Okay. Ready? Steady, go. Yes. Good job. And obviously she has played this game before because she weaves already, so your dog might not look exactly like she is, but that's totally fine. And a good rule of thumb is every successful 4 to 5 repetitions, change something like the distance away or the angle of approach, or make it more challenging in other ways. And also, while you're training, make sure to have a good balance between training on the left and right side. Here, sit. So when you're training with the first set of 2x2s, go wild, go crazy. Train all sorts of different angles, all different sets of approaches. Basically, if you've never trained weave pulls before, go on YouTube and look up, videos of dogs running agility courses, and practice all of those angles of entry. Ember. Practice all of those entries, all of those types of moves with just the first set of 2. That will make proofing a lot easier later on when you are proofing with 6 pulls or 12 pulls. So for example, you're not always going to want to send them from an easy angle. Like here, this is pretty straightforward with the dog. Ready? Yes. You might want to start just setting them from further back. Ready? Steady, go. Yeah, good girl. Here. Sending them from the other side from more distance. Ready? Go. Yes. So you can see that my reward placement was not great on that run.